Well, hello. There we go. I did it again. Hello and welcome to another episode of Lanark County Confidential. I'm your host, Mike Lynch Staunton, and I'll be with you for the next little while. We're being broadcast on WRVO, Reno, Viola being broadcast on the WRVO Radio Network, a division of Reno Viola Outdoors, and these days you can get it on his website, Reno Viola Outdoors, WRVO Radio Online, or at TuneIn Radio, or at Shoutcast Radio. So if you're, I guess those are just different ways you can listen to the podcast. So there's a lot of good producers on this. I was looking at it the other day when a couple of new additions came on. And I listened to Mike and Scott's BS session. I listened to Ben Wu. I've listened to all of them. Reason being because it gives me ideas as well as just to know what's going on. Now that we've got some more hunting-orientated producers out there, it's nice to see, especially Amanda Lynn. And giving it the female perspective finally, because everybody else, she seems outnumbered here, but it's nice to see. So I guess those are, I haven't listened to it on TuneIn Radio. I'll have to go see what that's all about. And Shoutcast, I'm not sure that's all about either, but that's the other places you can get, like I say, as well as Reno Viola Outdoors. So anyhow, today's episode is episode 11. It's called From BAOO to TIBAS. It's not brought to you by anybody other than me, Michael Lynch Staunton, your host. And what I'm going to be discussing today is basically, I guess, Darwin's theory. It's about evolution. Like, what happens, how things evolve. That's pretty much what this is about, how things evolve. And how a club like BAOO evolved from a good club to TIBAS. So it kept the BA and lost the OO out of it. So and added some of TIS to it. So there we go. BAOO, formerly Bass Anglers of Ottawa, started back in the the early 90s. I think 93 was the first year of it. And TIBS is going to be called the Invitational Bass Angling Series. Just to give you a brief history, bass tournament series in this area back in the early 90s were few and far between, as they were in every area. Originally there was Ottawa Bass. Originally there was some Quebec series and Ottawa Bass. And Ottawa Bass was a good series till some politics got involved and rumors and how things can be. And so the people that were running it just said, well, they're tired of the BS, and there you go. So fledgling Bass 2000 series sprang up with all sorts of, hoopla and stuff like that. I did one of their Actually, that was the first tournament I won, or we won as a team. Was a Twilight series, which is a really good concept, I think. If you're interested in something like that, I'd be interested in putting something like that on. So, anyways, what happened was they just I don't know whether they took the money and run, but I think that's pretty much what I heard anyway. So, or they took some money and ran, or anyways, they didn't come up with what they promised. So then there was there's a void, and that void was filled by BAOO, and then I think about a year after that was Renegade Bass started. So and I was involved I wasn't involved, but I was I was around at the beginning of both of these because being a marine mechanic, I fixed these guys' boats, or I rigged these boats, and I started off doing it back in '85 when we were doing Procraft at Carlston. So, but a friend of mine years back asked me to fish the series the year after him and his partner had won their classic. And I thought, well, geez, and Renegade was just starting, I believe, that year. So it was I was in '94, I think he asked me. Anyways, so I said, sure, I'll do it. We ended up 6th that year out of 35 boats. So, a good result as far as I'm concerned. And if you look at the statistic or the tournament results from back then, you can see there are some good anglers there. There's some guys that have done some good things these days, and so they may not have been as good back then. We may have been. I wouldn't say we were lucky. What I would say was that it was good pre-fishing. That's what I would say. It was just good pre-fishing and using whatever tactics we had at hand. A lot of top water, a lot of shallow stuff, not too much deep stuff. So back then I didn't know much about deep stuff. So, so anyways, and I liked BAOO Bass Anglers Lotto because they had their classic on Muskrat Lake. It was 2 days, so we got a campsite at Cedar Cove. At the end of the first day, he came there Friday night. Got everything ready and stuff. Well, we didn't come there Friday night, but we should have come Friday night. But we got up there Saturday morning. It was fogged in. It was that's a good story. Anyhow, that's good. Anyways, so it was nice because you had everybody hanging at the same place after the tournament, and it gave some cohesiveness and some community to the club type thing. So. And it was nice because you could discuss how what happened and stuff like that, and I enjoyed it. Well, there's a couple of guys their wives would contribute to sort of like a potluck type thing. So there's always plenty of food, and if you know whose wives were or who were the good cooks around there, you could it was a very good selection of stuff. So that was the intention, I think, of a few people running the club, and but then there were other people in the club that only were looking at it for money. And when you look at a club as an ATM, it sort of changes the I see it changes the attitude. Obviously, the intentions of every angler is not the same. So you've got anglers that are there strictly for money. They don't really care about the camaraderie type thing, but they will use that to their best advantage. So at TIBS, that's what I started finding out as the years went by. I used to hold anglers hostage. I used to hold their boats hostage as mechanics. Say your boat broke down and you really needed it for that weekend. You bring it in and, Mike, I really need it. I need it. Yeah, okay. But you know what? I got a line of 20 other boats in front of you. So what says, you get, why do you get, go sponsor for the team? Yeah, no, you're not sponsored by us or anything like that. So why do you think, well, I'll do this for you? And I say, no, you know what? I'm fishing the same tournament you're fishing. I'm working on everybody's boat. I don't have time to free fish. Give me some spots. So they give me spots, but that was the worst thing I could ever do. So, but anyways, that's sort of how things go at times. And I want people that are doing tournaments to realize that guys that are first going in a tournament series, there's a lot of money these days. We're seeing more and more big boats and stuff like that. More and more big trucks. More and more. Team jacket this, team jacket that type thing, and that's sort of basically where the progression of the sport's going. Is it? I'm not going to say one way or another. I'm an old guy, so I'm not an old guy, but I'm an older man. Anyways, it's got to get used to saying that. I like T-shirt and jeans and, maybe a nice jacket that has your boat manufacturer's name on it. But not the full out, sponsored by Joe's Garage and Bernie's Pizza and flamboyant, window repair. That's a flamboyant window repair. Anyways, flamboyant window draperies. How's that? So I just look at it like there's a lot of money that you got to lay out at times. Where you put your money is going to be dependent on how confident you feel in that body of water. If you're running a series, then you're basically stuck at what you got to fish. So you got to learn things rather quickly. I think that, and I found that if you're on a limited budget, then you look for a venue that's going to meet your needs. Renegade, I'm not going to single out them, but there are some series that they don't cater to that. There are some open series that there is an eventual winner, but there's 10 tournaments. It's realistically, you're looking at a lot of money to try and fish 10 tournaments. So where do you go? And nobody, I didn't think anything was offering any kind of introductory. Okay, number one, any kind of introductory, any kind of, my wife wants to fish with me. So there's no place that, I can't take her into a series like Renegade and realistically compete at a high level with Renegade. She just doesn't have the skills. And I'm not faulting her or anything like that. She just doesn't have the skills. So I wouldn't spend my money doing that series with my wife. There's a couple other series that, there's a lot of good anglers in there. They pre-fish 3 to 4 days before the tournament. You're not going to go and do well if you're fishing with somebody who doesn't have similar abilities as well. So that's not. And then, we hang out with these guys and, boom, everybody's gone at the end. So where's the camaraderie there? There's no camaraderie there. That's a money-making venue. That's it. You got to look at it as that aspect. So what is there? There's not much, because if you look at it, as soon as these clubs as soon as any of them get over a certain amount of teams, then the camaraderie is at the window, the competitiveness comes in more and more and more, and you lose sight of what the intention of the club is all about. So when I became involved with when I became involved with BAOO a few years ago, my intention was to limit the membership or limit the teams that fish, pick waters that guys with smaller boats can fish. Say you only had a 17-foot aluminum boat with a live well, a good live well, then, you could fish it type thing. Say you want to fish with your wife. Say you want to fish with your daughter. You want to fish with your son. You want to fish with you want to fish with your grandson type thing. There's nothing that there's nothing for that. Boyfriend, girlfriend, there's nothing for that. Say you've competed at the higher levels and you're tired of that. You just, you want to take it easy. You want to go out and compete because it's still within you. It's still, you're like me. You still want to compete, but it's not as much of a seriousness if you win or lose. If you win, great. Some cash, it takes care of the season and stuff like that. If not, oh well, so you have a beer with your buddies and stuff because that's the only time you see them, every couple of times during the summertime. And hey, you know what? If they put a whooping on your ass and they're in your friends, they're going to tell you. I mean, I got a couple of other anglers on some teams that, if I win, I can ask them. If they win, they ask me. I show them. Hey, this is what it is. It's right on my boat there. Take a look. That's what I did all day long. Where? I'm not going to tell you where. I'll tell you the type of water, but I won't tell you exactly where. But, my boat's not hard to figure out after a while on some bodies of water. So, you can figure it out for yourself. But you don't have a venue like that around. So I decided that it would be a way for BAOO to go. And I guess some of these guys didn't like. I don't know what happened, but in the history of BAOO, politics is involved a couple of times. I've seen the club go from a lot of teams down to 35, 20 teams, and then go to 50 teams. Once it was run by another angler, and then I think 2004, 2005, boom, it was like at 11 teams. It was 50 teams the year before. Controversy, politics, bullshit, just needless stuff. And then, boom, in 2005, it's to 11 teams. So I started fishing it, I think, at 2006. And we were, I forget, 7 teams, I think. And then by 2011, when the cycle of bullshit happened again, well, it started in 2010, but it happened again in 2011. And Adam and I are volunteers. We don't get paid for this. It was tiring having to deal with it. So we're going to, make changes so it doesn't happen again. And those changes are making it invitational. So we've got what's called, well, I don't know whether everybody else is going to call it, but I call it's a DL list, and it's in honor of past member who comes to mind because of it. It's a designated loser list. What it comes down to is anybody that's on this doesn't get into the club. So, and sometimes that's just the way you got to do it. It's unfortunate, but what happens is you eliminate the potential for agenda-bound teams or agenda-driven teams that are only looking for as the series, because there's a lot of younger, less experienced anglers in it as a cash cow or as an ATM. I call it as an ATM. I don't expect to win a lot of tournaments fishing with my wife. If we do, great. We have a good year, great. Even still, even better. I just look at it as, I like to fish with guys that are learning, and if I can help them out, if other teams in the series can help them out, then so be it. That's what they're going to benefit from. So if you want to fish with your wife, there's other females in the club, so they don't have to feel as if they're the only one. If you want to fish with your son or daughter, or that's the ability that say you had 2 or 3 kids. Say you wanted to fish with one son, one tournament, one daughter, another tournament, another daughter, another tournament. We accommodate you for that. It's like the family sub rule type thing. So the only thing we ask in return is a respect for the club and its rules, and you just give in. You help out every once in a while, because it's the people that are running it on a volunteer basis. We don't get anything out of it other than the fact that volunteers like to run things. Or no, it's not like I like to run things. Volunteers like to volunteer. I like to help out doing certain things, so this, to me, I don't mind volunteering my time to sit down and talk about a podcast. I don't feel it's out of doing much. It's like taking a lot of time out of my life to plan a meeting and go sit there for 4 hours one evening and talk to a bunch of guys about fishing and running a series and what they can get out of it and things like that. So that's what the intention of the club is to provide a venue to fill the gap that's not been filled. Provide a venue for husband and wife, father-son, father-daughter, even mother-son, mother-daughter. Hey, why not? Boyfriend-girlfriend. That type of venue. We have a barbecue at one of our tournaments, probably this year on the Mississippi. And that's just something that we do. because I think it makes, again, the club more cohesive. I'd much rather see us go back up again, do spend one place, do the Classic every year at the same place. It may happen. I'm thinking maybe Charleston, that might be a place to do it, because Charleston is a lovely, lovely lake in the fall time, catch some big, big fish. And it's, spend the weekend there is a really nice place. So it provides them with some revenue. And the other thing, too, as a club, as our size, we can pick and choose the lakes that we want to go to. We're not driven to have to fish the same lakes over and over and over again as some series are, because, their sponsors want them to. We don't need sponsors. We don't want sponsors, basically. All sponsors want is revenues from their dollars in. And as a growing, as a small club, excuse me, we don't need to be dictated to by a sponsor as to how we're going to run our club. We're going to run our club our way because we want to run our club this way. That just ends a certain amount of politics. Well, it doesn't end it. It doesn't create any politics, which I've seen in other clubs and series. So that's another thing that we don't do. So there's, if you never fished tournaments before, what we provide is we provide 5 tournaments, part of the series, and then 2 classic tournaments. Well, a 2-day classic. So basically 6 tournaments, 7 days of tournament fishing. 6 tournaments, all for $400. So, and then each tournament has the additional $10 or $20 big fish pool. So at that point, so you pay your $400 at the beginning of the season. Every tournament you come with $20, and that's basically it. We'll take care of the launch fees. And we'll teach you guys how to fish, or if you already know how to fish, we'll give you some good competition, because I don't mind getting beat. What I always learned from, when I road raced for a few years, okay, and I always learned that the guy that was beating me, okay, made me get better. When I was out and I was practicing and I was faster than any other bikes out there, I didn't get any better. When some guy came by me, and it didn't matter whether he was on the same size bike or, he was a 750 or something like that, I would try and catch him no matter what. That made me get better. So I've learned years ago that in order for me to get better, I have to put my skills up against better fishermen. It's the only way I'm going to do it. I either have to get a better partner, or I have to go into a tournament series that, I want to, there are good, really good anglers that I want to compete against. So that's what I've learned. And I do that. I've fished the Berkeley B1 for 3 years now. But I've on and off for 3 years. And I fished Renegade, Bassmasters. I fished Ottawa Bass way back when, Quebec Bass way back when. Like I say, Bass 2000 was the first win at a tournament. I think there's 20 some odd boats there. It's my backyard though, and I spent 3 days pre-fishing. So, I wouldn't say it was unfair, but I would say that considering. I spent 3 days pre-fishing and was on a very good good pattern as long as the weather stabilized, and it did remain stable for that whole week. I didn't think many people were going to come close to us. So, and my partner had won it 3 times previously on my spots as well too. So. Not with the weight that we had, but he still won them by a couple or not about pound and a half type thing. So, but that's what I allude to is that in the smaller venues, because of that, you can learn more things because you get closer to these guys. There's no illusions to this whole thing. I like to, then that's why I like to teach some of the younger teams and stuff like. Forget about this hero worship to these guys. There's no illusions. They all put their pants on the same way everybody else does. What differentiates them may be their equipment, but what will it differentiate a good angler or a good team from a mediocre angler or mediocre team is time on the water. I will say that number one, 100% right now. You'll hear this over and over again, and you'll hear it from the big pros because that's the way it is. It's time on the water. If you cannot commit to the time on the water, you're not going to be able to compete at the level that these other guys are doing it. And that's one thing that we teach in TIBAS, because that's one of the most important things you will learn in all your angling is that you can have the best boat, you got the best equipment, and you have the fanciest shirts, the fanciest trucks, and you got the most money. But if you can't get out there, the guy in the jeans and the t-shirt and a little 17-foot boat who can get out there every day is going to whoop your ass every time for that reason. You can have all the equipment you want. You can time in the water is something that you can never, you can't steal, you can't replicate, you can't duplicate. You have to do it yourself. You can't get somebody to say, "I'll go fish this area." You have to do it yourself. You have to be able to feel comfortable with an area. You have to be able to develop a confidence in that area to be able to say, "Okay, I know the fish are here, but I'm going to stick it out because that's what we have to do today." That's what you have to be able to develop. If you can't develop that with an area, then no matter where you go, no matter what bait you use, no matter what technique you use, whether it's hot, whether it's not, whether it's a super secret bait, you're still not going to catch fish. Confidence is one of the key things that you need to be able to enter, do well, and have success in tournaments. That will come from time on the water. There's a lake in the area, Newborough, where I spent probably 2 weeks total fishing, pre-fishing. No, probably a bit more than that. But 3 days back to back, 3 days in a row. So I saw the water, I saw how it was, and made our decisions on our tournaments based on that. And every time, that first one that we did for 3 days, never got out of shallow water, so we did mediocre. The next time, 3 days, we finished 8th. That's because we fished deep water. It just takes, on that lake, it takes deep water to win. You can win it shallow. I've seen it won shallow, but you're going to win it easier, deeper than winning it shallow. So, anyways, getting back to TIBS, one of the things that I've learned from running the club and being in the club is that it's hard to ask questions because of sort of an intimidation factor. You're new. You don't want to seem silly. You don't want to ask a stupid question. You want to, there's a lot of testosterone flowing around, obviously, but hopefully that is alleviated because of the fact that, we're not as serious. I'm not saying we're not serious, but we're not out to, we're out to build anglers, make them better. We're not out to make them richer. So, you can do that in other series, but you got to start somewhere, and that's where the Invitational Bass Angling Series is. That's what it's all about. So, my invitation to you as an angler, as a team, a new team. Again, remember we have our DL there, so. What we don't want is we don't want teams that are competing in other series because that's not what we're all about. So we do have teams that are good, that are basically in retirement, and that's what you're going to be competing against. So, and that's the whole thing about it being invitational. We invite who we want in. We know what the competition level is going to be like. So if you're up to the challenge, I would invite you to send an email to info@mlsser.ca. No, actually, go to the TIBAS Facebook page and send a message. Put your name down. Say you would like an invitation. That's how we'll do it right now. Put you and your partner down, or whoever you want have fishing. I can tell you right now that as it stands right now, half of the we're looking at capping it at 12 or 15. So if we're capping it at 12, we already have half the team. So there's just 6 spots left. If we cap it at 15, then there's going to be 9 spots left. So this is your chance to get in on a truly unique series. Remember, if you're in, this is like when I used to do slow pitch years ago, and as a team got better and better and better, we got carded. So we go into some tournaments and they'd look at us and they say, no, just as a team, you guys can't play here anymore. So that's what it comes down to. If we consider you to be a carded angler, you won't get in. If we consider you to be a member of the DL, you won't get in. This is for guys that want to fish with their wives again, want to fish with their daughters and sons, mothers that want to fish with their sons and daughters, guys that want to fish with their girlfriends, stuff like that. So that's what it's all about. And I'm hoping that if you're interested, you go to the Facebook page, go to Lanark County Confidence, or sorry, not Lanark County Confidence. Go to the TIBA, go to the Invitational Bass Angling Series. There's a Facebook page for it. Remember, that's the Invitational Bass Angling Series, and like it. Put your name down there. If you've got a Facebook page, our executive will check you out and see whether it's appropriate. And remember, this is not trying to, pick anybody out or eliminate anybody out. This is so people that can have a venue to do things that may not be. You may not be able to do that in the unless you're a hardcore testosterone-driven male and female. You're not going to make it in a series like Renegade and stuff like that. Same thing with some of the other series. I fish them, so I know the level that the competition. I know the level of competition, and then again, if it's a rough, crappy, miserable day out there, does your wife really want to go sit there for 6 to 8 hours in a rain suit? So, if you're looking for a series that's a bit less serious, that's where we come in. If you want to fish with your kids, that's where we come in. If you want to have a barbecue after one of those tournament series, that's where we come in. If you want to learn how to be a better angler, that's where we come in. So I invite you to go to the Facebook page. The website will be changed over the next month or so. So there'll be changes will be reflected on the website page. Over the next few weeks, we'll be having a meeting in May, and the schedule will be up within the next, probably at the end of next week. We just have to confirm some body of water, and that's the other thing is we can control the bodies of water as well too. So I invite you to come along. Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you very much again for listening to Lanark County Confidential, brought to you on WRVO Radio Network, a division of Reno Viola Outdoors. Hope you come back next week, where I'm going to talk about integrity in fishing. That's something that I think needs to be addressed. It sort of is a segue from this podcast as well too. I've got a few things coming up. Got a turkey one coming up. Got a jig one coming up as well too. So stay tuned, and thanks for listening.